play the game with no timeouts. You ride my wave, you're getting wiped out. Big mistakes get wiped out. I spot you like a lighthouse. Watch your moves like a night owl. On a full moon, wolves gon' howl. Can't bounce back, no rebounds. I show up like me how.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Tip Off. I am your host, Iceman the Eskimo. Don't mind the hair because the headphones is pushing it out. Looks wild crazy right now. But we back to talk about this draft. And today I come with something different. But first, shout out Big Fan Breezy with the Brooklyn Nets blog. You heard? Shout out to Lee, Brooklyn LM, everything Brooklyn Nets John. Shout out to my guys. Shout out to my guys. If y'all haven't followed me yet on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok now. TikTok is blowing up for me. It's taking off every day. Every time I go live over there, I'm blowing up. You know, you get a lot of content from other creators, and you get content from guys who just knows their team, and as far as like the draft and who their team, who the organization is concentrating on. You will get some info. You know what I mean? So come on over the Tip Off or Brooklyn Nets podcast. You can find me on TikTok. If you haven't done it, go do it now. You heard? But you know, I'm here to talk about this draft. Everyone's talking about this draft and who to pick up, and I got to thinking, right? And every conversation has to do with Sean Marks and Sean Marks and Sean Marks and Sean Marks, and there's only a little bit of Jordy in the conversation. So I want to remind people, fans, that Jordy does have a say in his type of players, right? And I also remind you that there's someone new on this roster who is drafting. His name is Drew Nichols. Don't forget, we got him from Denver. So he's another guy that's new, that's added to this scouting for the Nets. So my question today is, who is a Jordy Fernandez guy? Who is a Drew Nichols guy? Not who's a Sean Marks guy. I think we know who's a Sean Marks guy already, right? I know y'all know who Sean Marks type guys are, but is Jordy Fernandez guys different? Is a Drew Nichols guy different? Or we about to get into that in a second, right? Because Jordy said in the interview, let me see if I can pull it up again. Pause. See if I can pull up the type of players that Jordy likes. Um this was let me see. Was this stated that yeah. Um hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm trying to find a story. I'm not sure if I can find the story again. But what I can remember from it, he wanted to find guys that have a winning mentality and can build with the culture, right? Guys that's willing to put in work and grind it out and build the culture. Those are not the exact words, but I can't find a story now because I was just looking up Drew Nichols. So, who do y'all think is a Jordy Fernandez guy? Who do you think is a Drew Nichols guy? I have no idea who's a Drew Nichols guy. I myself got to do some homework. But Jordy Fernandez says that he winning mentality to build with the culture. You know what I'm saying? So who has a winning mentality in this draft? Can you see a winning mentality um in college? Can you see a winning mentality? Let me know in the comments if you can see a winning mentality from college, right? So I'm gonna go through a couple names. I just want to go through like the top 10 right now, right? Who of guys? This is on Tankathon, of course. Most mock drafts are different names in different places. So I'm gonna go Cooper Flag, Dylan Ace, VJ, Edgecombe, Jeremiah Fairs, Trey Johnson, Con Knuckle, Casperus, Jaconchonis, and Kamal Maluat. And Colin Murray Boyles. Those are top 10 um right now as far as on Tankathon. And we know we probably won't be able to get the top four, right? Which is Ace, VJ, Dylan, Coop. Possibility. Unless they make a big trade, I'm counting those guys out till I hear, you know what I'm saying, something else. So from Jeremiah, Trey Johnson, Conconupple, Casper's, Come On, and CMB, right? That's just naming names. Out of those guys, can you tell who has a winning mentality? Who do you think is a culture guy for the Nets? You know what I'm saying? What type of player would Jordy actually like on this team? You know, we talk about that type of stuff on Breeze's podcast, blog a lot. But I'm gonna talk about it here because I want other fans to tune in and tell me what they think of who the guy, what type of player does Jordy want? We know Jordy's a defensive guy. My guy, Jeremiah, he plays a little defense, more in the passing lanes, right? He's not a straight up defensive guy, but he's a paint toucher. He gets to the paint at will, moves the ball at will, scores easy somewhat, and he scores. He can score the ball, but defense isn't his strong suit. But getting to the paint is, right? Let's see. Trey Johnson, underrated passer, has a pretty good IQ. Um, Shot maker, offensive guy, shooter. He can shoot the three well. Consistent. Um, did consistent shooting in the combine. Did pretty well. Not a defensive guy like that. He can play some defense, but he's not a defensive guy. Concanupple, all around guy, shoot the three, off the dribble, go to rack, play his defense. You know what I'm saying? He's an all around guy. Um, Casper's not a real defensive guy. 6'6" shooting point guard, shoot the three off the dribble. He got stuff to work on. You know, he's not a big defensive guy either. So, come on, Mal, you watch. Defensive guy, center, 7'2". You know he played at Duke. You seen him in South Sudan, right? He's in a real creator, rim runner, shot blocker, protect the rim, type big, has some upside, can improve on a lot of things. Colin Murray Boyles, undersized power forward. He plays defense. A lot of bully ball, rebounds, and stuff like that. So out of those players, can you see a winning mentality? Can you find the player with the winning mentality? Can you guess who's a Jordy guy? Not just the net guy, but yeah, they want to find the next net. But who do you think Jordy thinks that next net is? Right? Because we need a lot of pieces on the team, and we have 5 picks in this draft. So throughout the whole draft board, as a fan, you know who you want. As an organization, they may not pick the same players that we pick just for the simple fact, like they said, they interviewing, they talking to, they watch more of the workouts than we do. They get to see a lot of inside stuff that we don't get to see. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes workouts and stuff like that. So could that factor in on what we're guessing? It can be somebody else. I seen a couple names of people that I didn't know. There's a lot of combine risers. I think there were like 10 combine risers so far that may end up higher in the draft than what we think or what we see so far, because this is not all done yet. You know, we got a little while before the draft actually starts in June. So it's not that far away. It's gonna go down pretty soon. But we got to keep on searching for these players. And like I said, it's not all about just a simple play. It's how you build a roster. If we trade one pick and draft four players, I'm still fine with that. But which four players do you want to draft? Which four players should the Nets draft? You know what I mean? Because some of the players that I haven't talked about. I was supposed to do a video on that. My bad, y'all. I was supposed to do a video on my hidden my hidden players that's not talked about a lot, right? But some of those guys that I talked about, I didn't talk about, but I'm gonna talk about is was in the combine and they did well. Some word that I talked about in the combine did well. For instance, Max Raynard, he's a senior, right? He's a senior, but he is highly skilled at the center position. Not a real shot blocker. He can block shots, but offensively, create from the three, drive from the three, left hand, right hand, hook shot, hook shot. You know what I'm saying? Back you down, face up, shoot the jumper, shoot the three. His three ball needs work, but I heard on another podcast that on in wide open threes, on wide open three attempts for Raynard, he shot 50 something percent from the field on wide open threes. Like that's a big factor when you're trying to figure out who your guy is. We don't have that on this team. Now, would the Nets want him? I don't know. Do I want him on this team? Yes, I do. You know what I mean? Another guy, Miles Bird. They said I was watching some film. They said he in the combine he had 7 steals, 7 in one game. Defensive guy has some shooting inconsistencies. Shout out to Dylan for saying that before. Nets press Dylan, you heard? But he does have some shooting inconsistencies, but he showed that he can hoop. And a lot of people think Miles Bird will be a steal in the draft. Is he a Jordan? Is he a Jordy guy? Is he a Nets guy? 6'7" shooting guard. Um, who else? Yannick Niedenhauser. I think I mentioned it on my last video. I'm gonna say it again. I thought Yannick was gonna go undrafted to the G League. Possibly still happen. But when he got drafted to the G League, he did too good. And they sent him to the NBA Combine, and he killed the NBA Combine, was another draft riser. That was one of my guys I didn't speak about. 7 foot, runs like a gazelle for 7 foot. Not really a ball handler. He dunks a lot of everything. Big body guy. I think he is also 250 pounds. He can shoot the three, but not well, right? And he's a senior, so I think he's 23. I think he just turned. No. He turned 20. I think he turned 22. I think he just turned 22. So he was 21 as a senior. So I think he just turned 22. I don't know if they want to take a chance on that as a backup big, but I think it's possible he could become a backup big in the league. It all depends on yada yada yada. You already know. But I'm just talking about guys that I haven't talked about. Um, Another person I didn't talk about, but somebody on TikTok put me on to where is he? Tahid Pettiford. Tahid Pettiford and another draft riser, but he's 6 foot. 6'1". He is a bucket. I think he dropped 20 and 10, 20 points, 10 assists, something like that in the combine. Was a draft riser. I think he is a freshman. Let me see if I can find him on the board. There he is. He was from Auburn. Went yeah, he is a freshman, 6'1", like I said. Freshman. Him and Janai Broom was deep into the tournament. Um and he played well. He's a combine riser. Now, like I said, who is a Jordy guy? Um, you know what I mean? Like we gotta figure that out. Who's a Jordy guy? What is a Jordy guy? Have you seen a Jordy guy? You seen who he played with in the Canadian for the Canadian team in the Olympics? You seen who was on that team? There was talent on that team. Now if you get to draft talent, who's a Jordy guy? You know what I'm saying? Um um Ryan Nimhard is in the draft. Andrew Nimhard's brother, and he killed the combine as well. I don't even see his name on draft boards, but he did well because he's a senior, or he might have been a 5th year senior. I don't know, 4 year senior, 5th year. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, when you're looking for quality players, most likely they'll be a little bit older. But if you're looking for upside, the upside players are mostly younger. Not always, but mostly younger players. But the point is here, we got to figure out who these guys are. Because I know who I would like on this team, and I can tell you right now a list of players that I would like on this team. Starting with you already know my guy Ace. I take Dylan. I take Ace. I take Jeremiah Fears. Um, I would even take Con Canuple, but not at 8. You know what I mean? Not at 8. Let's see. Come on, Mal, you watch Noah Asenge. Now that with this being said too, Noah Asenge has now moved up the draft board. He's still playing in his league right now, and he's moving up the draft boards. And some of the mock drafts have us taking Noah Senge at 8. Big wings, 6'8", still slim. I think he's like 192 or something like that. Rebounds, defense, block shots. Not a great 3-point shooter, but he does a little bit of everything. Is he a Jordy guy? Because now I see like a lot of teams is focusing on his name. Now he's moving up the draft boards because he wasn't on the combine because of his team playing him and Ben Saroff still playing. So is he a guy? Would the Nets fans be mad? Would Nets fans be mad if we took Noah Senge at 8? High upside guy. There's no telling what he's going to turn into. And he's still young. He's very young, right? There's a lot of players. I don't want to name them all. You know what I mean? I don't want to name all the guys, but I seen the guys that I have on my list. A lot of other teams that's lower down have on this list as well. That's below us. They focusing on the same guys, so I think everybody in the draft kind of wants the same guys. Not always, but at least like if I pick 2 guys, or if I pick 2 out of 3 guys, the other teams will have my 2 guys. I say they have 2 guys that I want, and I have one like maybe not in their radar because I don't know what every team wants. Right? I can't guess what every team wants, but the guys that I would like on this team, I know they're good because I've seen seen other teams looking at these players as well, and it's like they got they 3 players that they would draft, and depending on where they are on the board, they may not even get those players. But I know the Nets know what good players are. I just don't know if they want seniors. I don't know if they want all freshmen. You know what I mean? I don't know how they trying to build a team. That's the question. I could pick all the players I want. We can pick all the players we want. But how are they trying to build this team? You know what I'm saying? What type of players do they want on this team? Like I said, what is a Jordy guy? What's the guy that I mentioned from Denver? What what is his type of guy? How is his team building? These guys have say so in building this team. We need to stop focusing on Sean Marks. He's not the only guy. He might give the last yay or nay, but you know what I mean? He's not the only guy drafting here. You know what I'm saying? So they're like there's some few guys. I don't want to name all my guys, right? I don't want to name all my guys yet. But like I said, Max Reynard is one for sure. Jeremiah Affairs is one for sure. I'm gonna just go down the so Reynard is at 27, and Reynard has a promise in the 20s. By the way, somebody already gave Reynard a promise in the 20s. I don't know who it is. Some were guessing Atlanta. Some were guessing Atlanta. I'm not sure if it's Atlanta, but he already has a promise in the 20s. Um, every Brooklyn Nets fans, a lot of Brooklyn Nets fans want Jeremiah Fears, and so do I. If we can't get Dylan or Ace, I want Jeremiah. Right at 19. Now 19 gets a little tricky because you don't know who's on the board and who we draft first. But Thomas Sorber could be a guy. Danny Wolf could be a guy. Rasheer Fleming. At 19, I would take At 19, I would take Rasheer or Danny Wolf. I would probably leave Sorber on the board. I would probably take Rasheer or Danny Wolf. And I want Max. Now 26. It's a little bit difficult. Like I said, it depends on who we take first. If we take Jeremiah first, yeah, I want Danny Wolf or Fleming. Then I want Max. I might take Noah Pender at 26. I'm trying to think. And then the last draft pick, yeah, I might take Cedric Coward. It all depends, man. It's a lot. It's just a lot of players, and it all depends on who we pick first. For the most part, will I change up my strategy on drafting just a little bit? You know what I mean? So I want y'all to think about that and holler at me and get back to me. You heard? Y'all know my motto. Y'all don't have to like. Y'all don't have to subscribe because I don't know anything. You heard? And I'm out.